Four proven tools to scale your business. This is what we're going to talk about today. So let's start by defining what scale is about. Is scale about growth? No, not necessarily. You can grow by 20, 30, 40% every year. If you are not profitable at the same time, you don't scale. Well, then is scale about profitability? No, not necessarily. You can make huge profits, but if you grow by 5, 10, 15% year over year, you don't scale as well. Well, what I'd like to share with you today are 4 proven tools in order to increase both your growth and your profitability. Number 1 will be stop selling a product, a service, a solution, start selling an ROI. Number 2, turn your customers into subscribers. Number 3, break your in silos organization and start organizing your people in value stream. We'll dive into it. And number 4, if you want to scale, you will have to apply scale KPIs instead of the vanity business metrics that everyone uses. KPIs, key performance indicators. Very good question. If you do apply these 4 tools, at least this is what I did in many businesses, and it systematically helped us to drastically increase both our growth and profitability. In the last company I had the privilege to manage, that we scaled and exited a few months ago, the recurring revenue per person was multiplied by 6, the EBITDA, the earning before interest, was, meaning the net profit, was multiplied by 8, and I hope that the result for you will be even much bigger than this. Your success is our success. By the way, my name is Lionel Benizri. I do not have the typical journey of the entrepreneur, as mine started as a former commando in a combat elite unit called Duvdevan, today unfortunately very famous for a Netflix show about the unit. I then spent a decade working as a security and intelligence officer, leading operations in places and countries I do not wish you necessarily to visit. I became an entrepreneur pretty late in my life, building a first startup in the information management field that led me to interact with this guy and merge with Deloitte. After this first exit, I decided to do something else, to help others to scale their own businesses. I had a huge opportunity to meet so many business owners, entrepreneurs. I learned so much from them. I hope they learned a bit from me as well. And that enabled me to put together a 100 weeks program to scale that any SaaS executive can use and apply to his own business. I applied it by myself in many businesses, and it was, Baruch Hashem, systematically successful. Beside all of this, as Robert was nice enough in order to mention, I'm also a Moel, circumcised a lot of kids, including my own sons. A Sofer, I wrote a Sefer Torah to my parents, and an Ironman. Back to business. Let's start. Scale principle number 1. Stop selling a product, a service, or a solution. Start selling the benefit of it. I will ask you one question. How many of you currently sell a product, a service, or a solution? Raise your hand. 100%. This is what I used to do as well. The problem with it is that people, if we sell a product or a service or a solution, people may like it or not. We have to rely on the quality of the product or the service, our reputation, some key features. This is a risk, there is no problem. What's important is what you take from it, not the presentation itself, even though it would be nice if it would properly work. And what does it mean to sell the benefit of it? It means that what's important is not your solution or your service, but the return on investment that your client might expect using your solution, your service, or your product. I'll give you a tangible example so that you understand the idea, and you will be able to apply the same as well. October the 8th, 2019, it was a Tuesday. I was invited to pitch, such as 7 of my competitors, to pitch our solution in front of one of the most prestigious ice cream manufacturers in the US. Imagine a room of 20 executives listening for 7 hours in a row to 7 different data providers offering more or less the same solution, a restaurant database. So I'm sitting there, it's 3 p.m., I'm sitting there in the lobby waiting for my turn to pitch. Now for you to understand, you will understand very well, October the 8th, 2019, 3 p.m., it's 2 hours and 45 minutes before Yom Kippur starts. So at that time, I know 2 things. First, I'll have to keep it short. Very short, because in a few hours, I will have to fast, such as you. I need 25 hours of services as a Sephardic rabbi in downtown Chicago. Number 2, all the executives in the room have probably heard more or less the same added values. Our database is amazing, granular, monthly updated. Our tool is beautifully designed. We have some key features. You should go with us. Number 2 that I know, I have to pitch something that is completely different. I got in and opened one slide. This is the slide that I showed, nothing else. Keep it short. I said, good afternoon. 36 million. $36 million. This is the return investment you might expect from using our solution. And I'll show you how. You will have access to 1.2 million restaurants in the US. Our database will enable you to segment the data and go after your most profitable operators, let's say your top 10%. And even with your current conversion rate, you will gain another 12,000 outlets. Well, when you multiply this by your current average deal, Mr. Blue Bunny, you'll get to a return investment of $36 million. 1 week later, after the first Chag of Sukkot, they signed a license that was 3 times more expensive than any other proposals that they had on the table. Sell the return investment, do not sell the product. Was it a one-time success? No. Otherwise, I wouldn't share that with you today. We experienced the same success again and again with the top 20 US food tech companies, with the top food distributors in the US, etc. Can you do the same? 100%. I met hundreds of business executives who told me once, no, but Lionel, in my specific case, it will be very, very difficult to measure a tangible return investment that I bring to my clients. Well, if I can tell you this today, each one of us in this room can measure a tangible return on investment that we bring to our clients, and this is the one I highly recommend you to pitch and to use in front of your clients. One last word about this chapter. I have good news. Despite all the difficult macroeconomic conditions, the business world is a pretty easy environment to deal with. In many other fields in life, you take, for example, an intelligence officer, very often we have less than a few minutes to understand the real motivations of the people we interact with. Is it ideology? Is it ego? Is it money? Is it something else they care about? It's a pretty sophisticated cocktail. Well, in business, it's very simple. The most common denominator that everyone understands is money. So pitch a return on investment, sell a return on investment. That was scale principle number 1. Everything's okay? Very good. Scale principle number 2, license 100% of your clients. Meaning, stop working on one-time customers, one-time projects that you sell once, see money, and that's it. The client can disappear tomorrow. Start turning your customers into subscribers. If you don't do that, the one-time revenue portion of your business will kill your growth. One-time revenue can kill your growth. You're probably surprised, well, this guy is crazy. Please take a flight back to Chicago. Thank you for being here. No. So let's take a quick analysis in order to understand that point very, very well. If I take your business next year, you have only two potential case scenarios. Let's take a business with the exact same level of existing revenue, with the exact same level of retention, meaning the portion of the business that you keep moving forward, and with the exact same level of new business. What's important is not the numbers. What's important is to understand that in case scenario A and B, you have the exact same business assumptions. The only difference is that in case scenario B, there is a small portion of the revenue that is not recurring. That is a one-time revenue. You sold a few one-time projects, for example. Well, without diving into the entire calculation, look at the bottom line. Look at the result. When your business case scenario A is entirely built on recurring revenue clients, on recurring clients, then your growth looks good, plus 20%. Case scenario B, if you have only one portion of your business that is one-time revenue, your growth will be plus 6%. As we say in plain English, haram al-masari. It's bad. It's really bad. If you think it's bad, well, it's even worse. Because the one-time revenue doesn't kill only your growth. The one-time revenue can kill your valuation as well. Because the day you raise an investment or the day you exit, people, investors, will measure your business only based on the recurring side of revenue. They will apply what we call a multiple on the recurring side of things and not on the total revenue. It's called the ARR, annual recurring revenue. So this is really, really important. It's an important point to understand. I came to understand this too late in my life. So please, rule number one here, do new mistakes, not the ones that I already made by myself. I understood that first as a startup younger, as a young startup founder. When we signed our first client, incredible feeling. Something that didn't exist yesterday, tomorrow will be used by hundreds of users. One of the best feelings on earth. You feel useful. But then within a few weeks, months, I came to the understanding that this one-time amazing deal will not help me and will not help you pay the salaries moving forward or investing in your business. It was a one-time and that's it. That's why since then my first obsession as a serial CEO has always been to first transform the one-time revenue of a business into a recurring revenue based. When I took the lead of CHD, for example, a big data company that I led to a successful exit, it was a business that was 40% recurring revenue based. The day we sold the business, a few months ago, 2.5 years afterwards, it was almost 90%. What's the secret sauce? Well, simple. In 3 words, subscription, subscription, thank you so much. Subscription. Subscription type number 1, instead of selling a one-time product, you can sell a membership. I think that this is exactly what the Jewish entrepreneur should do. Instead of having us paying a one-time access for today, they should sell us a membership to being part of this community. If the membership is not a business model that works for you, subscription type number 2. You can sell multi-year contract instead of a one-time. I believe that the most powerful and impactful way of growing a sustainable business is subscription type number 3, which is licenses. License your clients. Take Salesforce or HubSpot. It's not only an amazing solution that generates a lot of recurring revenue, they sell licenses, it's a solution that is deeply embedded into our day-to-day organizations. And it creates stickiness, which is exactly what we're looking for. Scale principle number 2, license your clients. Until that point, we covered 2 tools, yeah? 1, sell an ROI, 2, turn customers into subscribers, yeah?
Could you just elaborate what does it mean by licensing through Salesforce and HubSpot? What exactly practically do you want us to do?
Great question. I took HubSpot and Salesforce as great examples of companies that sell licenses instead of selling you a one-time access. What I invite you to do is tomorrow, what do you sell?
Mosquito control company.
A what?
Extermination.
Extermination. Well, it's not a good word. Let's say. Okay, perfect. You have a company that sells A. In order to sell this one-time project extermination project, you sell a membership to your clients. To do that on a recurring basis, let's say annually or quarterly, and that brings you a portion of revenue that you will see in 2022. But you will see as well in 2023 and 2024, yeah?
Can I just add on?
Yeah?
You could do B2B and B2C and build monthly models for B2B where they come and be more proactive rather than reactive.
Applause? That's it, you have your business coach. Last question, I will take time for a question at the end.
How would you apply this idea to, I do clothing, I sell clothing retail,
Okay?
in which case most people are not subscribing to get an outfit a week or an outfit a month. So how do you apply this concept to a non-service-based business where a lot of people are not signing up for this?
Why not? I know a few businesses that developed a recurring revenue model for clothes. Instead of selling a one-time thing, they sell a membership to a platform in which you can buy a jacket and then 6 months later a hat. But the interesting portion of revenue is not the one-time purchase of the jacket or the one-time purchase of the hat. It's the fact that you give an exceptional, an exclusive access to the members of your community. And you put all your clothes on a platform. Great? Last one.
Nice to see. How can you, if you're an entrepreneur, you just started a business,
Yep.
nobody's going to have a license you.
Why not? If the question was, if you're an entrepreneur, no one will license to your solution.
You just come out with a product and you have to build a brand. And then you have a license.
What do you sell?
SaaS.
SaaS? Socks. Ah, okay. Who do you sell to?
Who do I sell to? Off price.
So B2B or B2C? Business to business, or you sell to consumers? That's amazing. So it's a B2B business. So instead of, they can either buy a stock of socks for A, very expensive, or they can do something that there would be much more appealing for them, which is subscribing to a monthly or quarterly delivery of socks for half of the price. This is exactly what I applied at CHD. You can buy a one-time database for 500,000, or you can buy a subscription for 180,000 each and every single year, and it will be monthly refreshed, monthly delivered. You find a way to make it recurring. Scale principle number 3 is not about growth anymore, it's about profitability. Scale principle number 3, stop working in silos, organize your people in value streams. Whether you have an organization of 1, 5, 10, 50, 500 people, organizing your people in value streams. I will explain. Working in silos means nothing bad, lichoa. It means that marketing is doing marketing, production is doing product, retention or customer success is addressing client issues, finance is working on the budget. Once again, whether you have a 5 people organization or a 500 people organization, this is how silos work. You will pretend to be customer-centric, but if you have such departments, if you divide your organization into this, you are not. You are a self-centered organization instead of being a customer-centric organization. How you can be a customer-centric organization? You make a 180 degrees shift and you move to be a value stream organization, meaning that you will redesign your entire organization around a set of actions, a set of simple activities that you will have to complete in order to grow or maintain your business. Basically, when you move from silos to a value creation meaning that value creation is in the middle, the customer is what matters, and around this I will have, transforming leads into demos, that's a tangible action, selling the ROI, that's a concrete action, sending a sample of my success of my product, this is a concrete action, so that you can taste, the customer can taste your product, and then follow up, negotiate and close, and then invoice and collect the money, and then kick off the project, and then deliver the product. If you are not part of this cycle, you are useless to the company. If any of the expenses that you make is outside this following scope of work, it's an expense that you can cut. So whatever your value creation cycle look like, at CAG that was our value creation cycle, whatever yours look like, it might look slightly different, but what matters is to organize the people by value stream. This is super important. Where did I bring this idea from? From Elite Units. And when we did this, when we moved from an in-silos organization to a value stream organization, you see the result in terms of profitability. The idea comes from special units. I cannot tell you a lot of these, but one that is publicly known is already on Google, unfortunately. 2007, April, we were leading a special operation in Qalqilia. Just from the name itself, you understand that you would not go there for vacation. 3 a.m., middle of the night, tracking Amin Lubada, one of the well-known terrorists responsible for the death of hundreds of people during the Intifada, the second wave of violence in the early 2000s. Qalqilia, 3 a.m., we are in the darkness of a windowless truck, complete silence. We are waiting for the signal, and then the back door opens. You could feel 12 elite fighters taking place around the building. Within a few seconds, a burst of bullets is fired. We reply back. We communicate with another task force, snipers on the roof, the origin of the fire. Bam, bam, bam. Target neutralized. A few people collect some intel. Another task force is organizing our way out. The vehicles leave. Kipul and Glia. What's the difference between this and our business? We do not have departments. We work as a cycle of key activities. Everyone knows exactly what needs to be done in order to complete the operation. It's the exact same idea, no difference. Set the few, you will see 4, 5, 6, 7 key activities that are truly valuable in order to grow your business, and focus only on this, operate in value streams. And scale principle number 4, measure what truly matters. If you want to scale, you will have to apply scale KPIs, scale metrics that are different from the business vanity metrics that people use to use. Stop using vanity metrics, start using scale KPIs. I'll give you an example, not from the business world, to understand the idea of a, sorry to call it that way, of a bullshit metric versus a truly valuable one. A few months ago, I had an interesting call from a guy based in Australia, a business leader based in Australia, Paul. And Paul told me that one of his life goals for 2022 is to complete an Ironman. An Ironman is a 140 miles race. You must train for a month, every single day, a few hours a day. Fortunately, Paul did have enough time in order to get prepared. I asked Paul only one single question. How will you measure your progress in order to get there? And Paul said, well, for the first few months, I will measure my weight and then my RPM and then my speed, and it sounded super sophisticated. Long story short, when Paul finally measured the one single metric that truly matters when you want to complete such a race, which is the distance, he quit. He postponed his dream to next year. Measuring the right thing was the way to go, and he used the wrong measurement metric. The lesson we can learn is that we cannot achieve something exceptional if we do not put against the right KPI. I see a lot of Talmidei Chachamim in the room. If you are familiar with Tariag Mitzvot, mitzvah number 602, Lo yihye lecha bekischa even va'even. Do not use a false measurement. Use the right one. Well, why you joke? Even so some people during Daf Yomi, Masechet Ktubot Daf Mem Zayin 47, Keivan deda'ata leigayure menatera nafsha. If your intention is to really achieve something big, menatera nafsha. You have to monitor your progress. It's critical to use the right KPI. Now, what's the difference between the vanity metrics and the scale KPIs? I'll take only 3 examples, and then we will conclude. If you look at the retention, what we call today the customer success thing, people will tell you, we have to measure customer success in the customer satisfaction rate. No, the NPS. No, the usage rate. Blah, 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 blah. I have nothing against those KPIs, those key performance indicators. I can tell you 100% for sure that the only one that truly matters when you want to scale a business is none of these, but the net retention in dollars and cents. Which means, in simple words, you started the year with 1 million, for example, from existing customers. Did you end up the year with 1.2 or 700,000 from the same customers? Net retention. Of course, the satisfaction rate and all the rest will bring you there. But the one thing that matters is this. There's a beautiful in Hebrew that says, זה לא הדבר הכי חשוב, זה הדבר היחיד שחשוב. It's not the most important thing. It's the only thing that is important. Product, number of tickets, number of sprints. Will we measure an engineering or a software or a product or an innovation department by number of features? No. When you want to scale, it's another game that you're playing. The only thing that you truly value is the customer lifetime value. Customer that was spent with us 3, 4, 6 months, that bought from you 2, 3, 4 times. Is it now a 7, 8, 9, 10 months? This is the only thing that matters. And marketing, well, that's the funniest thing. You will listen to a lot of marketing experts that will tell you that you should measure marketing in brand awareness and number of leads, and traffic evolution, and blah, 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 blah. Well, all of these might be nice for Facebook and Instagram. If you want to scale a business, the only one single metric that really matters in terms of marketing is the number of booked demos, the number of concrete, tangible business opportunities that you can use, pitch, and then hopefully following up and close. The reason that I'm talking about this is that I truly believe that if you could do only one thing, applying the right set of scale KPIs is the one thing to do. Because when you think about this, what is our only single mission as CEOs, as business owners? Our one single mission is to take a group of talented people, whether it's 5, 50, or 500, going in different directions, taking those amazing talents going in different directions, and create perfect alignment. Well, I don't know about you, but the best way I know to create alignment in a team, in a business, or in anything else is to measure the right thing. What we have to do is to measure 100% of our people with the right scale KPI so that they can boost their own achievements, so that you can identify where the real problems are and enable them to do what you have to do as business owners, which is enable them to unleash their full potential. I was actually so frustrated not having a system like this a few years ago that I built one for myself. Today is a scale dashboard that enables people to get the right scale KPI, the right measurement, and even to track their life progress. If you do this, the 4 things that we talked about today, you will see an amazing increase in growth, in recurring revenue per person. And this is what I wish you more than anything else, as this is our topic today. I will conclude. Let's some time for 2-3 questions, and then I'd like to share with you one last story. What we talked about today is that scale is about both growth and profitability. If you want to increase your growth and profitability, 1, sell an ROI. 2, turn your customers into subscribers. 3, break the silos and operate in value streams. Number 4, implement dedicated KPIs to scale your business so that you can achieve such results and even more than this. Do you have any question? Yep. Yep. Of course, if I understand it.
I'm trying to find an investor.
Yeah?
And I'm working on the cash flow.
Yeah?
Now, the gross profit is showing beautiful, like 39. Now, the gross profit is about 39 to 40. The net profit is somewhere between 15 to 19. That's the year.
Okay.
So, year 5, I have a profit of like $8 million. I think $36 million sales. But there's no money back because you have to put the money back into buying inventory.
Excellent question. I will summarize the question: how to find the right balance between growth and profitability. We have one rule. It's a religion. It's Avodah Zarah. It's a religion for private equity firms and venture capitalists. They call it, Shem Yishmor, the rule of 40. Meaning, and I thank you for your question because this is exactly what we talked about today, that you have to reach when you combine growth and profitability, you have to, in order to be attractive and appealing to investors, you have to get to a 40% growth curve. I will explain. If you grow year over year by 20%, and your net profit at the end of the year is 20% of your total revenue, 20 plus 20, 40. Amazing. If you feel that the macroeconomic conditions are not the best moving forward, and you will have in 2023 a growth a year-over-year growth only of 10%, you will grow by 5%, 10%, no problem. Then take the appropriate steps in terms of profitability in order to reach a 35% profitability. So that 5 plus 35 equals 40. And it explains you one last thing that is really important if you are a first-time entrepreneur. If you lose money, if you're losing money, you might be in a good case scenario as well. And under one condition, that you have a super high growth. We'll explain. If you have a year-over-year growth of 50%, you generated 500,000 last year, and you suddenly generate 750,000 in the year afterwards, in 2023. You grew by 50%. Even if you're losing money, and you are at a minus 10% profitability, meaning you're losing 75,000, plus 50 growth, minus 10 profitability, it's still 40. You hit this rule of 40, which is amazing. So it's not intuitive, but I think you have your answer to your question. What is the right combination? Find it to yourself, but you have to reach the 40. And if someone in the room is losing money, yeah. I don't know any investor that you can show an amazing growth curve, and even if you lose a small pocket of money, they will not invest. I was giving a talk yesterday in front of 200 high-level CEOs at the NASDAQ Center yesterday in New York. It was called the Chief Executive Group PE Leadership Summit. You know, they like to add a few words. They don't know this. Bottom line, they all said the macroeconomic conditions are not ideal. Don't worry if you, it was one talk from a private equity firm that said, if you are not profitable but you keep a high level of growth, we will invest. Yep.
How do you create a subscription program with a retail product when the supply chain is so unstable?
So for specific questions regarding exactly how, I have to dive into the business. I try to answer in 2 sentences. It's a retail business. What do you sell to? What do you sell? Candy? Candy like my 4 kids eat? The candies? The chocolates? Okay, and who do you sell to?
Mostly consumers.
And through what channel are you? Retail stores. Okay. Same as the socks. I will go to a store, and instead of selling a one-time big box of candy, I will make a huge discount. It's in your own interest. Don't worry if you are not exactly profitable. Make a huge discount if the store can commit to order from you every single quarter, for example.
But I can't commit to the product being available.
No, you find a way. You merge between a business issue and the back-end office. The back-end office, you solve it. We can solve it. It's an operational issue. But don't mix between the two. You ask about the business, it's feasible. Yeah?
What's an example of licensing for subscription? What's the term that? What's the company that will work licensing the subscription?
License is a type of subscription. You have membership, license, multi-year contract. A consultant will have a lot of difficulty to license his brain and body, so he will not choose the license, which is the best way. He will choose the multi-year contract. Well, I'm a good consultant, you like me, you see that I'm valuable to your business, let's sign for a 3 years contract instead of a 1 year. You want to pay for a one-time project, a 1 year, it will be 500,000. You trust me for being with you throughout the next 3 years. It will be 150 or 200 per year, for example. And one last one, yeah?
When you say, getting people not to work in marketing silos, the value creation, do you mean like around a company mission or what the company stands for? I'm not sure what that value creation is.
Great questions. I'm talking in actions. If it's not something tangible that you can do with your 10 figures, I'm not interested. Don't tell me I do marketing. Well, you can do marketing for another company, not for mine. If we work together, you tell me what is my brother has a very nice way of putting it. When he asks you what you do, so everyone is answering naturally with the LinkedIn bullshit title, and he says, "Oh no, that's very nice, but what do you do with your 10 fingers when you come to work? You drink your coffee, and then what?" And then that makes things much more tangible. I'm writing a campaign that I design with my mouse, and then I send it through HubSpot. Well, that's a concrete action that is truly valuable. Don't tell me I'm making noise on social media. I'm writing a 750 words piece of content that I send on a weekly basis. That I understand. This is an action versus a department. Is it clear?
Well, you're saying there has to be one value stream for the entire company.
Yeah, there is one cycle for the entire company.
Give an example of that value creation.
Yeah, I gave one. It can be conduct renewal workshops with your existing clients. That's something tangible. Okay. With that money, you will invest in marketing so that other people know about you. So the next action will be, with that money, I built campaigns that I will send once a week to this target audience that I understand. And then there will be another task force responsible for transforming the leads into book demos. We saw that you were highly interested. The opening rate, you open our content a few times. You might be interested. Can we set up a call next Wednesday, 2 p.m.? Transforming leads into demos. Then you have a sales, you have a business development representative, whatever you decide to call it, that is here to pitch your, what do they pitch? The ROI, thank you so much, and not the product. They pitch the benefit that I can use. Then, because people do not buy what you say or what I say, but they buy what they see. What you see is what you get. Then I suggest that the next step is usually to deliver a sample of your product, 5 pieces of socks, 5 truly your best candies. So really a sample of your product so that people can actually see what your product is about, taste it by themselves, and then you close. Then I don't want to hear about financing departments working all day long on budget. I wanted finance, even if I have only one finance person, to collect the money and invoice people. So this is what I call a truly valuable cycle. Then you produce, you kick off project. Everything can be put on one slide, your entire company story. How do you create value? Thank you, and yep.
Can you give an example of a subscription for like a professional services firm? I'm an architect, or maybe like a lawyer or an accountant. Can you give an example?
Yeah, 100%. Great question. For a lawyer, but they do this already. They do not need us. More and more lawyers have a recurring fee that you pay on a monthly basis. That it's not tied to one document or another that they will produce. That's a great example. And if you are an architect, my dad is an architect, you can do the same, providing a number of sketch per year within a framework of a contract that you can sell. So that's something that you perfectly can do. I hire, for example, law firms. Every time we have a due diligence before selling a company. They are smart. They do not sell me a one-time project for 150,000 that is for 20-25 days. They will tell me, Lionel, it's amazing. We will go with you. You trust us. You pay 20,000 per year. You pay 15,000 per month, which is 300,000 per year. It's more money. And even if this is the exact same level of money, they are with me in 2022 and they are with me in 2023. Instead of paying them 150,000 and not hearing from them anymore. So they are smart. They already do that. Any last question before I conclude? Yeah. Yeah. Service to? Okay. Tell them to. Okay. Okay. That's an interest. So you sell HR. You sell people. You sell people, basically. You position CFOs into companies.
Certificate of occupation.
Okay. Well, same thing as our friend here. You don't need me. They already do that. We have a friend in Chicago that does exactly this. They sell a maintenance fee over the years. So yes, you're right. You have a one-time thing that is pretty substantial, and then you won't see the same amount on a yearly basis. I'll be honest with you, but you can sell okay. I will have to understand the business, but basically I'll try in one question. What does it give them? What is the benefit from them? Not the financial one. What is the benefit from them? Time. Okay, can I quantify, once you can quantify the amount of time they save with you, you have an ROI. Exactly. Lawyers do that as well. Great question. I will conclude.
Any other one last question?
Yeah, if it's okay. It's not something from me. It's a life lesson, nothing to do with business, that I learned from someone else. Yeah. It's a life lesson I've learned from the most creative leader, the most talented intelligence officer, and the most humble human being I've ever met. His name is Emmanuel Yehuda Moreno. Emmanuel led, do you know him? Someone knows? No. It's a shame. I think that the entire Jewish people should know him. Emmanuel led his last operation in August 2006. 2006, August, 2 helicopters are flying from Turkey south to Syria. They land 40 miles north of Beirut. The helicopters, some undercover vehicles leave the helicopters and go somewhere. At some point, Emmanuel left the car with a technician guy. They went somewhere and did something that, believe me, goes well beyond what you see in the movies in terms of creativity. The operation, until that point, was actually a success, but unfortunately, on the way back of the undercover vehicle to the helicopter, the team was trapped in an ambush. The enemy was actually quickly neutralized, but then a small ricochet, a small bullet, hit Emmanuel's neck. He had 5 seconds left to live. A few days earlier, when we're in a room discussing all the potential case scenarios that might happen in such an operation, Emmanuel said, well, we discussed a lot of different case scenarios. We tried to cover all of them. But if, despite everything, the helicopter is hit, and you have, he says this to someone else, you have only 5 seconds to live, what would you do? So the guy said, I don't know. Just hope it goes fast, and that's it. And he said, why? What would you do, Emmanuel? And Emmanuel said, what I would do, and I hope that this is what you're going to do as well, is to exploit those 5 seconds, to give them a meaning. I will personally say Shema Israel, but whatever you decide to do, put some content into it. Because if 5 seconds have no meaning, then it means that 5 minutes, 5 hours, and 5 years do not have a meaning as well. But if 5 seconds have a meaning, then the next 5 minutes and the next 5 hours and the next 5 years will have a tremendous impact on your future as well. And this is what the idea that I'd like to leave you with today. Today, thanks to Robert, thanks to this amazing organization, thanks to this wonderful day, thanks to you being here, we are discussing the first 5% of your success, which is the strategy. But 95% of it is the execution, is what you do in the next 5 seconds, 5 minutes, and 5 hours. So think about this, and please execute tomorrow morning. I met too many entrepreneurs in my life who want to achieve something truly exceptional in 5 years, but not necessarily spending the next 5 minutes and 5 hours to do something game-changing. So focus on the next 5 seconds and 5 minutes. I wish you a lot of success. Thank you so much.